You're listening to The Supreme Show with who? Me, Supreme, a.k.a. Big G, the brother with the platinum voice that'll put you to sleep. So listen, like, and subscribe.
It's your boy,
And
Kareem
don't forget to
Supreme.
drop a comment. Peace. Here to talk about the Panther movie that came out 25 years ago today in 1995. Once again, y'all getting old. Yo, but check this out. This was a brilliant movie. I mean, it was 100% accurate for the 90s. Most 90s, 80s, and 70s movies was accurate on black topics, based on black people. Nowadays, movies based on our leaders or on our heroes are mostly whitewashed or fictionalized with fictional characters, mainly fictional white characters with the Jesus Christ Savior mentality. And they're also loaded with black male bashing, lesbianism, and or homosexuality in most cases. Or they're loaded with interracial propaganda. And the good thing about Black Panther, this movie Panther rather, it wasn't loaded with any kind of Hollywood agendas. You know, it was just raw. That's one of the reasons why it's hard to find on DVD, not because of copyright issues or no inside business issues or anything. It's simply because it's simply unavailable because they don't want it to influence the minds of Black America. You know, Hollywood has a committee. They have an organization on what movies to let fly and what movies to not let fly. So Black Panther, the movie Panther, 1995 is one of them. Another one was Tales from the Hood. But you can find that on YouTube, I was told recently. This was like a week ago, but for years that movie was unavailable on DVD or Blu-ray. But now it is, because that movie contained a lot of scenes and sequences where it will boost the revolutionary fervor in African Americans, just like Panther. But this movie was brilliant because of the acting and the subject matter, and it was quite accurate with the time period of the 60s. The 60s were revolutionary. And in this movie, the actors who were Kadeem Hardison, it was directed by Mario Van Peebles, his son. The book was first written by his father, Melvin Van Peebles, and then Mario directed this movie. Dick Gregory was in it, Kadeem Hardison was in it, Kool Moe Dee was in it, Nefertiti was in it, Yo-Yo was in it, Bobby Brown, Chris Rock. It had an all-star cast. And the dude from Minister Society was in it. Bokeem Woodbine was in it. And I'm just going off the top of the dome. You know, it had an excellent all-star cast. And this movie featured some key points that happened in the 60s, especially in Oakland, California, where police brutality was sky high. What started the Black Panthers was a little boy got hit by a car at an intersection in Oakland, California, and the community kept begging to put a stop sign up there, you know, because that wasn't the first time a little boy got hit. And, you know, and from what I heard, white motorists was doing it on purpose because it was in a black neighborhood, and they was doing it on purpose. So the community tried to get a stop sign, and the Oakland Housing Committee just didn't care. The police department, the OPD, didn't care. Nobody cared because it was in a black neighborhood. So a group of teenagers and young adults, they got together and they was their own stop sign. And then police brutality was on the rise, so they said, we got to do something. We tired of this shit. So Bobby Seale and Huey Newton, they got together and formed the Black Panthers. It started out with them two and about 5 others. Next thing you knew, it grew to 10,000. They were exercising their constitutional rights. Back then, you could bear arms, as long as it was in plain view. You didn't have to have a pistol permit. The Panthers are the reason why we got to have a pistol permit, because before it was a constitutional right. If you can afford it, you can carry it in plain sight in America. In the state of California, good old Governor Ronald Reagan put an end to that because he declared the Black Panther Party for self-defense. He declared them as public enemy number 1. He said they were using fear and intimidation on the Oakland Police Department, and you can look this up. But in reality, the Oakland Police Department was using fear and intimidation on black people. So, you mean to tell me you won't do nothing about that, but you'll do something about a black organization that's trying to, better their community? The Black Panthers, they were serving free breakfast. They had their own newspaper. They were, charging. They were taking down badge numbers of police officers, and at times police officers would cover up their badges. So the people can't complain or file an incident report. You know what I mean? So that's how the Panthers came together. And then next thing you know, Chicago, New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Atlanta, Georgia, all these major cities started forming their own chapters. Celebrities was getting involved. It just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The music of the late 60s started reflecting the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Artists like Curtis Mayfield and a bunch of other soul artists started making, songs, that was related to the movement. Now, the media is very, very powerful. So that's another reason why it's hard to find this movie. You're going to pay about like $150 if you want this on DVD. I just recently found out it was available on YouTube for free, but the quality is not that good, but it's watchable. But the media is very powerful, and the powers that be in Hollywood or Hollyweird, they know this. So that's one of the reasons why. That's another reason why they don't want you to see it. Plus, they don't want us to start another Black Panther Party movement in 2020. Because if we get together and unite to fight the powers that be, we could do better than what we did in the 60s. With all this technology we got, we're way more advanced than we was in the 60s, because they didn't really have nothing, you know what I mean? The media is very powerful. They don't want this movie to get into our kids' hands. They don't want it to get back into our heads, because they don't want it to get in our minds or on our conscience, because we'll revolt. There was a movie back in the 60s that influenced the Black Panthers. It was called The Battle of the Algiers. It was a very powerful movie. Matter of fact, in order to be a Black Panther, you had to master the 10-point program, and you had to watch this movie thoroughly. There was a group called the Panther 13. They were on trial for all kind of trumped up crap. And at the trial, the judge presented the movie Battle of the Algiers to the jury. So that movie was pulled from the shelves. It's called Battle of the Algiers. Battle of the Algiers. It was a good movie. The French was trying to take over, the Algerian citizens and the Algiers, they fought back. You know, they used all kind of war tactics, guerrilla warfare. All. It was a good movie. You got to check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, man, it's been 25 years, and it hasn't been another movie about the Panther Party, the Black Panther Party for self-defense since. You know, now Hollywood got it to where they control the narrative of our African American history. You know, you saw it with Harriet Tubman, you saw it with Madam C.J. Walker, and a bunch of other movies. You know, it's always some nonsense in it. You know, where did these white characters come from? Why they bashing the black male? You know what I mean? You know, it's all types of subliminal message to fit their racist agenda. You know, they don't want to show positive images of black people on TV, especially black men. We're under attack. They want to make us look as negative and as soft and untrustworthy as possible. And the media controls minds. I keep telling people they use the media to control the mind of our kids and the young adults who don't know no better. They don't understand white supremacy. So they start first with the media. If they can't control you by the media, they'll control the public schools. They'll control the curriculum of the public schools. They're gonna force feed nonsense to the youth, children are the future. You know, that's why it's a lot of confused young kids today, especially in especially teenagers. They're not as woke as I was when I was a teenager. You know, but anyway, y'all got to check out this Black Panther movie. It came out in 1995. It was directed by Mario Van Peebles. Brilliant film. Brilliant film. A lot of people try to make it seem like the Black Panthers was a gang when they wasn't. The Black Panthers was an elite group of African American citizens. You know, a lot of them was doctors, journalists. You know, a lot of them had bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. They were educated people. Huey Newton was a doctor, and Bobby Seals was a lecturer. Elders Cleavers, I believe he was a journalist. You know, Angela Davis, she was I believe she was educated in law. I don't know if she was a lawyer or what, but she was involved with law because she represented herself in a trial, and she won in a murder trial, and she won. She was accused of smuggling guns to the Soledad brothers in California. Soledad brothers, they launched that prison revolt back in the 70s. Yeah, all these Black Panther elites, they were highly educated. You know, the young ones, the young Panthers, they went from gangs to being a part of the Black Panther Party. You know, so that's probably why the general public think all the Black Panther chapters in America were gang affiliated or they were gang bangers. You know, any type of black movement that's trying to make a difference, they always find a way to throw salt on their name or tarnish the image. Y'all already know. But yeah, this movie was unforgettable. I saw it when I was 15. Matter of fact, this was the first DVD I ever bought. The very first DVD I ever bought. I got a DVD player in 1999, and I bought this movie. I remember because it was $30, and that was a lot of money to me back then. And years of watching it over and over, I think around 2006, it just wouldn't play anymore. So I said to myself, I'll just buy it again. And I was never, ever, ever able to find it. To this day, I still haven't found it. To this day, I still haven't found it. But if y'all got it, if y'all own the DVD and it's in good condition, it could be worth about $100, $150, maybe $200. You know? But anyways, back to the movie. Like I was saying about Ronald Reagan, he was the governor of California. He went out his way to dismantle the Black Panther Party, him and J. Edgar Hoover. You know, Governor Ronald Reagan made carrying guns illegal without a valid, unless you got a valid permit, because of the Black Panthers. And he pushed the envelope to have dope put in the black community, to charge the Black Panthers with drug possession. And there's a lot of Black Panthers still in prison because of that. Then fast forward from the 60s to the 80s, good old Ronald Reagan becomes president of the United States. And in the early 80s, you see crack cocaine in the black communities across America. So in the 60s, when he was the governor of California, you saw dope in the inner cities. And then when he's the president in the 80s, you see crack cocaine everywhere. That's Reaganomics for you, baby. Reaganomics. Don't believe me? Look it up. But anyway, y'all check these movies out. Black Panther, Panther, I keep saying Black Panther. It's called Panther, about the Black Panthers. And check out Battle of the Algiers. And get at me. Drop a comment. Peace.